As parents, we're on top of so much. Homework, lunches, getting everyone out the door on time. But have you ever actually stopped to pick up your child's backpack? I mean, really feel the weight of it? You might be surprised. It's something we should probably take a closer look at. It seems pretty harmless, right? Just a bunch of books, binders, maybe a snack. But that load they're lugging around every single day could be putting a real strain on their growing body. So let's break down why this is so important and, more importantly, what we can do about it. You see, the real issue here isn't just about a kid feeling a little tired. We're talking about the physical impact a heavy bag can have on a spine that's still growing and developing. It's a pretty big deal. Okay, think about it like this. When a backpack is too heavy, it literally pulls a child backward. So what do they do to compensate? They have to lean forward, and that simple action puts a ton of strain on their neck, shoulder, and back muscles. Over time, this can lead to some really bad posture habits that can stick with them for life. So we've laid out the problem. But the good news is there's a super simple, expert-backed rule that can help you protect your child from all these risks. And it's really easy to remember. This is the magic number you need to remember. It's not just a random suggestion either. Health organizations and ergonomic experts all point to this 10 to 15% range as the absolute sweet spot for safety. And listen, especially for the younger kids in elementary school, you really want to aim for the lower end of that range. Staying closer to that 10% mark gives an extra buffer of safety for those smaller developing frames. It just makes sense. This little chart here makes it so easy to see what that percentage actually looks like. So, for example, if your child weighs around 30 kilos, that's about 66 pounds, their backpack shouldn't weigh more than 3 to 4.5 kilos. See? Having these concrete numbers makes it way easier to know if you're in that safe zone. But what if your child's backpack is already too heavy? Well, they might not always come right out and tell you something hurts, but their body has a way of sending some pretty clear signals. You just have to know what to look for. Okay, these are the big red flags. Of course, any complaints of pain are an obvious one, but also look for those physical signs, like red marks on their shoulders when they take the bag off, or maybe you notice them struggling to even put the pack on or take it off. And that forward lean we talked about, that's a huge giveaway. And this quote right here from our source material really drives that point home. That forward lean isn't just a bad habit. It's their body directly compensating for carrying too much weight, and it puts all that unhealthy strain right where they're most vulnerable. All right, so you've weighed the bag, you're watching for the signs. Now what? Let's get to the practical stuff. How can we actually lighten that load? It's honestly easier than you think. This simple little routine can make a massive difference. First, a daily clean out. Seriously, just take out the old papers and books they don't need for tomorrow. Encourage them to use their locker if they have one. And think about lighter supplies. Every little bit counts. And finally, just do a quick reweigh every few months, especially after a growth spurt. It's a fantastic habit to get into. And finally, let's talk about the backpack itself, because what's inside the pack is only half the story. The bag is a critical part of the whole equation, and this is where ergonomics becomes so important. So the key concept here is something called weight distribution. You could have two backpacks with the exact same stuff inside, but the one that holds that weight closer to the body and spreads it out evenly is going to feel way lighter and cause a lot less strain. And that's our goal. And this is exactly how you get that good weight distribution. So next time you're shopping for a backpack, here's what to look for. Wide padded shoulder straps? That's a must. But also look for a structured back panel for posture support, and this is a big one, chest and waist straps. They are absolutely essential for stabilizing the load and stopping it from shifting around. And that's really what this all boils down to. By just being mindful of that 10 to 15% rule and picking a bag that gives the right support, you're doing so much more than just preventing a sore back. You're actually supporting their healthy development for the long haul. So the takeaway here is pretty simple. Weigh the bag, watch for the signs, and lighten that load wherever you can. A few small habits can make a huge difference for your child's health. And if you want to dig a little deeper into choosing a backpack with all the right features, the source for today's explainer, mykite.ca, has some really fantastic guides to help you out.